Hey dads, welcome back to the Fit Dad Club podcast. My name is Jason Barrett. No Travis Jones with me this week, but I wanted to cover a topic that has been on my mind, and I've had a couple of conversations with some dads about it. And in essence, it is predicting exactly where you're going to be in 6 months' time and how you can do that with pretty startling accuracy. The way that you predict what your next 6 months is going to look like, and this is kind of giving away the whole podcast in the first couple of minutes, is by looking at where your last 3 months have been. And too many people don't do this. They expect things to just kind of change on their own. And I've talked about this before. You're living your life by default or you're living your life by design. If you're continuing to live your life by default and not taking an active part in changing the things that you know need changing, expecting that, the weight's just going to fall off, the bank account's just going to get better, the relationship is just going to improve, and you and your wife are just going to stop fighting, right? And your kids are just going to start listening to you. You just got your fingers crossed and you're hoping that this is going to happen. It's just not like, that's just not the way that the world works. You're living life by default. Now, if you were to design your life and start to make a difference from now, then the last 3 months doesn't matter. But if you're just going to continue going through life the way things are, have a look and have a think about what has the last 3 months been like. And we call this process reflect and project. So you reflect on what has the last 3 months, 6 months, year, 5 years. You can do whatever time frame you want, but 3 months for 6 months is a pretty accurate representation. What was your weight like 3 months ago? What was your energy like 3 months ago? What was your relationships like? What was your bank account like? Whatever it is that you want to predict where you're going to be in 6 months' time, that is what you need to audit in the last 3 months. You need to take some time and go, where was I? And you could just do a surface level about, yeah, I was feeling a bit better. And that might be, you can blame the seasons. You can blame, well, it's cold now, so I can't go out for walks. And, it's easier to stay at home and drink a bottle of wine or whatever. You can say all of that. But in reality, this is an ongoing pattern. In reality, this is you not taking your health or your life as seriously as you need to make the changes that you want and just kind of hoping that they fall in your lap. Because you need to look at, where were you 3 months ago? Therefore, where are you now? Let's say 3 months ago, you were 100 kilos and then now you're 104 kilos. So you're up 4 kilos. 6 months' time, you're probably going to be up around 110, 112 because that's the trajectory, right? You're going to continue to gain that weight until you hit that point where you're really uncomfortable and you make some changes. And it's a hell of a lot easier to go from 104 back down to 100 than it is to go from 112 down to 100. One of them's a quick couple week change. One of them's, 10, 12 weeks of consistent dieting. You have to ask yourself, where you are right now compared to 3 months ago, is your health any better than it was? Is your energy levels higher or lower than they were? Is your weight up or down? Are your aches and pains any better or any worse than they were 3 months ago? And the problem for a lot of people is they think that stagnation is okay, but there's no such thing as a neutral change, right? Because the rest of our body, like we're aging as well. As you get older, you're going to lose more muscle, you're going to gain more fat if you're not doing something about it. So that ratio is going to shift. So every year, every 6 months that you get older, that ratio is going to slip. Even if the weight stays the same, you're probably going to be less muscular and have more body fat. There's no such thing as staying still. Staying still is in essence going backwards because everything else is moving along in life. Things like, inflation. Having the same amount of money as you had 6 months ago is not a good thing because the average buying power of the dollar is going down. So you're losing out. You need to be growing, right? You need to be moving forward. You need to be improving in some way, shape, or form. Because here's the thing. If nothing changes, nothing changes. Your next 6 months is going to be on that exact same trajectory unless you do something now. Not next Monday, not when things calm down, because you're a dad. Things never calm down. There's always some shit going on. And you've probably told yourself this before. You've said, I'm going to do it next time. Oh, I'll do this next thing in a couple of weeks' time when things are a bit easier or when I can do this and when I can do that. If you have the capacity, you've got to do that shit right now. You've got to take action. You've got to get momentum and move forward. Because if you don't, it becomes so easy for the weeks to turn into months, to turn into years, and then you never do anything. And you need to stop promising yourself you're going to take action when you don't. Because that's another vote of a lack of confidence in your own word. And then the next time you say it, there's going to be a bit less strength and a bit less strength until you stop saying it altogether. So you've got to have confidence in your word. And confidence in your word comes from following through on the shit that you said you were going to do. And fundamentally, you need to know how important this is for you. Because too many people think about, oh, if I gain another 10 kilos, that'll be really bad. But they don't do anything about that prevention. They don't actively make the change. They think, oh, maybe I'll be able to make some changes from here because I really don't want to gain that weight. But they don't put any effort in. Yes, guys, it is hard. It takes effort. It takes change. But after that 6 months, you're then going to have in place a system that allows you to drop the fat, to keep the fat off, and to be focused on your health and to keep your trajectory moving in a more positive direction, no matter what program you do. Whether you do it with us, whether you do it with someone else, whether you follow your own program, you need to start doing something. Otherwise, your next 6 months is going to look like your last 3 months, but just double. And you can look at that and go, hey, if you're happy with that, amazing, awesome, you're kicking ass, right? And I know some people that are doing just that. If you're not happy with that, then you need to do something legitimately now. Because you will continue to tell yourself next week, next month, next week, next month, next Monday, after this weekend, after we go away on our holiday, you need to make a commitment to yourself. Draw a line in the sand and say, no, I'm done going backwards. I'm done restarting. I'm done doing this shit over and over and over again. Not that you're giving up, but that you are investing fully in a new you, a new version who is willing to show up, who is willing to do the things that are hard, that are uncomfortable, in order to live their next 6 months of their life far better than they've lived the last 3 months, far better than they've lived the last couple of years, right? And it's not just about, having a bit of extra body fat. It's about feeling confident when you take your shirt off at the beach with the kids. Summer's 6 months away for those of us here in Australia, right? And if you're in America and you've got, 30 kilos, you've got like 60 pounds to lose, you can lose that over the course of a year and be ready for next summer, right? But you need to have something in place that then allows you to feel confident, right? And most people, yes, you can feel confident if you haven't got a six pack, but you feel a lot better about yourself when you're looking good and you're feeling good and you're taking care of your body. There's a lot more confidence that comes when you take your shirt off if it doesn't get stuck on your man boobs, right? If it doesn't overhang, your gut isn't overhanging your board shorts. You want to have those memories and those moments with your kids because you only get like a couple of summers with them. You only get like up until before they start thinking you're not cool enough to hang around with. You get like 8 to 10 summers with them before they started wanting to go to the beach with their friends and not with their family, right? Before they stop thinking that you're cool. And you can embrace the moments that you do have with them by being as active as you can be. Like I remember my wife saying this to me. It's like, you only get so many Christmases with them where the magic is still really there before they get too old. Like, you only get so many of those. So if you want to make the most of those, you need to have the most amount of energy. You need to have the most confidence in yourself. You need to not be caught up in your own internal world of not feeling the best, not having the energy that you want, because that's what this is really about. So if you want the next 6 months to see you on a new trajectory, 10, 15, 20 kilos lighter, more energetic, more confident, showing up better for your family, you need to take action, but you also need to put in place a practice to reflect, because too much we get caught up in the cycle of just living by default, just doing the same things over and over and over again, expecting a different result, just cruising through life, not being intentional with life. So if you reflect, you can go and look back. How did I do this last week? Did I hit the training sessions I said I would hit? Did I do the food that I said I was going to do? Did I prep the meals I said I was going to prep? The more that you can reflect and make adjustments in your life, the quicker you can course correct, right? Looking at your budget. What did we waste money on this week? Well, let's not spend money on Uber Eats this week, right? The shop was really expensive, or we were buying all these things. Let's not buy these things anymore. Being really clear about what has the last 3 months been for you. When, as you do that, when you move forward, you need to consistently reflect and consistently look back, whether it's on a Saturday or a Sunday or a Monday or whatever, and go, how did I do last week? Or even how did I do yesterday? If you could do it as a nightly thing, you would improve so much faster. But even as a weekly ritual, to go, how did I do this week? What tripped me up? What can I do differently? And if you need someone who's in your corner to help support you through that process, right? A team of people who have done this before and continue to do this with dads to help them get the results that they need, head to fit-dad.club. We'll be there to support you. We'll be there in your corner. You can book a call with myself or Trav. We'll help you map out a game plan from where you are right now, right? And where the last 3 months has been to where the next 6 months could be. And we'll help you put that plan in place. Because sometimes you need to kick up the ass. Sometimes you need that support, and it's okay to need that help, right? But you do need to do something. You need to get something moving in the right direction, because unless you want the next 6 months to be like the last 3 months or the last 6 months, you need to change. You need to do something different. One of my favorite quotes is from a guy called Jim Rohn. It's like, he says, for things to change for you, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better, right? And that doesn't mean that you're shit the way that you are. It just means that you don't have the resources that you need or the resourcefulness that you need to get to where you want to get to. And that's what we want to do. We want to provide those resources. So head to fit-dad.club, leave us a 5-star rating and review on the podcast. If you want, send us a message on Instagram as well if you have any topics you'd love us to cover. And this is just something that I really wanted to share with you all. So plan your next 6 months. Reflect on where is your trajectory going, right? Based on the last 3 months. And now let's put in place, where do you want it to be going? And start aiming for that. I'll see you next week.